Video número dos. All right, today we are talking about the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain and this Hemi Sync and the binaural beats and the Gateway Project and the CIA, and it's just also very, very, very exciting, right? Okay, so you can go look this up, but the Gateway Project was the CIA's thing about like if you could access both sides of your brain and sync them, then you would be able to access more of your consciousness. Well, the brain is part of your nervous system, and you are not going to be accessing anything if you're dysregulated, if you have anxiety or stress, right? So before you can start doing your hemi sync or your binaural beats or syncing your right brain and your left brain, you gotta be calm, right? Which is part of your nervous system, which is your gateway to consciousness. So they were only focusing on the brain, which the body automatically has to calm itself down before you can do that. But anyway, binaural beats plays a sound on the right side, then the left side, and then it's supposed to help you get into those brainwave states and sync your right and left side of your brain, your hemispheres, right? And then this is supposed to help you access more consciousness and so forth. So, this is also what they use in psychology called EMDR, which is your eyes looking from left to right to activate your left side and your right side of your brain while you think of what is your trauma or what's bothering you so that your brain can rewire it and then it won't be so loud and it won't harm you so much, right? This also is what they do with the bilateral tapping, right? Because your left side of your body, your right side of the body correspond to a hemisphere of your brain. So this is the same thing as hemisync and binaural beats, or looking to the left and to the right and to the left and to the right. So you can do this if you are trying to rewire your brain. And the reason rewiring your brain is important is because you can do all the dancing and the stretching and the release of your fascia. But if you come from trauma, or if you have a lot of trauma in your life, you have a hardwired brain that is going to continue to think those thoughts, and thoughts create chemistry, and chemistry creates feelings and emotions in your body, which give off a frequency, which your electromagnetic torus field that comes from your heart uses to create your reality. So if your thoughts are negative and poor, then that's what reality you're going to keep rendering from your predictable subconscious and unconscious past, right? So the reason that the hemisync and the binaural beats and the EMDR is good for rewiring is because you can take the sounds of binaural beats or the hemisync or whatever else, you can find it on YouTube, and you can think positive thoughts while you're doing it. You don't even have to go into your trauma if you don't want to. You can start thinking positive thoughts about you, because you are the one that is creating your reality. So when you say positive things to yourself, especially if you're looking in the mirror and listening to the binaural beats and your hemisync, you're actively rewiring your brain while you're telling yourself, I'm fucking awesome and I love myself and everything works out for me. So you're not just doing affirmations and visualizations, you're doing them while you're utilizing technology that they've already discovered rewires your brain. So this is very powerful stuff. If you have a history and the breathing isn't working and all this other self-help stuff isn't working, try the Hemisync binaural beats and the EMDR bilateral tapping while you look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself positive things about yourself and your reality. And then you're actively rewiring your brain. Your neural pathways that were stuck together for just negativity and trauma from your past are now going to start reaching to create positive connections about positive things, and you're actively helping it rewire by syncing your left and right hemispheres of the brain. And once this happens and you do it repeatedly, positive thoughts create positive hormones, which create positive feelings, which give off positive frequency, which your electromagnetic field uses to create your reality. Now, you can't just stop there. Your brain needs to be neuroplastic. That means it has the ability to change and it wants the ability to change. So you can't just do this. You also have to introduce it to new and stimulating things. Move your furniture around, listen to a different song, take a different route to work. Do something different because your brain needs new information so that when your electromagnetic field starts to create your reality, it has more experience to pull from. Because if you don't have that experience, it's gonna pull from whatever you've gotten, whatever you know. Because think about it. You were born, you've got all the stimulation from your experiences, and that's all you know. You don't know how to be an astronaut because you're not one. And if you are, then I'm not talking to you, obviously. So you are only creating life from what you know. So if you want to create a different life, you gotta know something else. Okay? So this is how you heal. This is how you create a new reality. You move your body, you get your exercise, and you can do the Hemi Sync stuff, and you can rewire your brain. This is for all the trauma babies and the people that have difficulty with the trauma stuff, okay? I love you, mean it. You can do this. Look in the mirror, listen to your stuff, connect your right and left hemispheres, and rewire your brain, okay?